Hey everybody, welcome back to another Stone Face Reactions. I'm Theta, below me is Justin, and below him is Lessons. We are back with episode 4 of Mobile Suit Gundam The Origin, and I guess this time it's my turn to try and give you guys a really short, really bad recap, because last time was, I believe, Dawn of Rebellion, wherein we had Char get Garma. Wait, the beginning of the episode was them doing a lot of uh, exercises as training, right?
No, it starts in the spaceport with Char and Casval, and they're going to take a
And the
ship.
switch.
Yeah, and Casval realizes that he's being followed, and there's a delay, and he catches the fact that basically the people who wanted to get rid of him, because he decided to join the academy. It's like, oh, as long if you stayed in the in the space station where it's like what's it called? Amusement park, Texas amusement park. It was fine, but now you got out,
Loum.
you're too much of a risk. So they try to kill him. And Caswell says, "Well, I can't stop that." So he switches with Char. Char goes into the ship, but named Caswell, right, with his luggage, and the ship gets blown up. So and now our newly minted Char, aznable, basically says, "Oh, hey, it's me," and he joins. And in order to cover his identity, because the one thing that was different between the two of them is that he has different colored eyes, he uses glasses, like sunglasses, to cover his eyes. Says, "Oh,
So,
I have light sensitivity." Yeah,
yeah. Sorry, I forgot how far back the episode went. Is
yeah.
my thing. Is I'm combining all this in my head together and really trying hard because he has to make it to his matriculation ceremony, which is what throws off old Char, who throws a Karen like hissy fit about the old style gun that he wanted to bring with him, which is setting off the detectors of this place. And this guy's like, "Why do you want to bring this with you?" So he's gonna be late to his matriculation ceremony if he doesn't get onto this ship now, which is when our boy Edward decides to switch places, vice versa, in the bathroom, and takes his paperwork so that other Char, just before his death, gets a little one last freak out. But yeah, then we go to the matriculation ceremony where we see Dozel and Giran giving a speech in front of an admiral to be named a little bit later. I can't remember his name right off the top of my head. Um,
No, I think they mentioned him right there,
no,
Rebel.
no, that's what I said. I can't remember his name. Well, if you remembered, you should say it. Well, I was gonna wait
Well,
till I got to the. I was gonna wait till I got to the board because the board has his name on it. So I just couldn't remember
yeah,
off
but
the top.
there's a panel. Which is interesting about the scene because there's a panel of United Earth officials, right? They're the military, and Revel, and he's giving these speeches about, oh, we're gonna serve and all that, and the Zeon military, and Revel is the only one that goes like, does the Spock eyebrow, like, "Mhm." Like, you're saying some interesting things there, my friend. I'm gonna keep an eye on you for that.
Well, because he's
And
giving
then
a speech of like how y'all are considered toy soldiers, but I consider this an academy for real
yeah,
soldiers. And then Rebel was like, "Huh, okay." And that's when we then get to the actual military training with the Garma showing up as being propositioned as the golden boy of the Zabi family, even though he's running the slowest amongst everybody and doing the worst outside of, say, academics, where even then Char decides to show him up by finishing the equation that he's having a hard time finishing.
well, I think he's doing fairly well, right? He's not like the bottom of the pack, but
No, no,
compared
he
to Char,
was.
right?
He was.
He
Remember in
was.
the when they're doing the running on the field?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Uh
he's
huh.
shown Garm is shown to be at the very back of everybody, and the only people slower than him are his cronies, who are intentionally running slower than him.
To make him feel like, yeah, he's not the absolute
Yeah,
worst. Yeah.
yeah, because the Char makes that observation from the front of the pack. But yeah, well, I mean, to be fair, we don't see much other than Char's observation when they're doing the running, and then
Mm-hmm.
in the academics where Karma is up on the doing all the academic stuff on the thing, and Char just interrupts him to say the answer. Beyond that, then we get the hiking operation where Garma gets injured falling off a hill trying to keep up with Char. Char makes a little thing for him so he doesn't get like wet and dirty while he's laying there recovering. Uh, Sprains his ankle, I believe, is what it happens, and Char helps
Hmm.
carry him back so that, well, walks back with him because he doesn't want to be seen to be carried back or rescued because it would like
Hmm.
bring him down in his family's eyes. And a zabi man doesn't fail, is I think what he says.
Yeah.
And I forget immediately what happens after that. 'Cause in my head, we go right to the ship crashing. Is that what happens next?
No, I think it's happens is the switch of the because after that he gets to be in the same room with him with Char.
Right, because
He pulls
Yeah, because
rank.
he
He pulls
forces the
rank
same
to
room.
and his other friend who, by the way, there's a couple of mentions of that other friend who's supposed to have known Char from Texas, right, from the space station, and including he mentioned something about Spaceball or something. Like, hey, remember when you won that, right? That moonball thing? And it's like, oh yeah, sure, whatever, right?
no, wait, it's
Because
the
he's
artillery field. Didn't happen yet, did it? The artillery field hasn't.
Not yet.
not
Okay.
yet.
No, I could have sworn he does. The artillery field happens before the switch of chambers.
Yeah, no,
No,
it
that's it.
does. But
No, no,
no,
it's end of episode. That's
No,
the artillery thing because that's the whole leading to the event.
well, it's not the end of the episode. It happens early in the episode.
it happened. He's talking about the exercise because they were trying to
Got it,
go
got it, got it.
against the UAG, the United Earth Forces in this exercise. And the idea is that Char is going to sneak in infantry to get to the bunkers. And he does it because actually Garma turns out to be a pretty good artillery officer. And, at least he knows his stuff in there. And he's able to lay down covering fire to do that because everyone else got, wiped out, right? Um, and that's what happens, right? And so this starts to sort of like Garma's like, okay, this guy's useful, right? And then the same thing with Char, so they start working kind of together a little bit, even though there was a point where that it seemed like they're going to be a fight, but Char pulled the the dark aura thing, it was like, I'm so powerful you cannot even touch me. What are you doing, bro? Right,
Oh,
early
one
on,
of
but
Garma's
yeah,
cronies tries to grab him from the shoulder,
yeah,
gets
yeah, yeah.
terrified, doesn't let go of his shoulder though, and then tosses himself across the field.
Yeah. He's so terrified he jumps back and like, this guy,
There was a longer conversation that I've had about this before, but that would induce the Justin rule to have it here, so cannot talk about that scene other than to say, hey, Justin, think about that scene a lot.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I guess there's not much more to that, the whole Lino switching rooms thing, other than the fact that Lino has had suspicions this whole time that something's up because he's been quizzing, even during the artillery thing. You know, hey, remember that time? This is like that time you led our team to victory back in high school. He didn't lead our team to victory in high school. You know, he's been testing him this
Man,
whole time.
man didn't even go to high school.
Well, he must have. Well, that's where Lena knows him from. But, yeah. Uh, this is where my brain gets fuzzy because we've gone past everything. There's a ship crash that's
Hmm. Oh
entirely
yeah.
on the fault of Earth Force because they're like, we've got the right of way. We're with the Earth Federation, and they're like, we're already coming out. We've got nowhere to go. They're still yelling up to the crash, where they caused the entire accident, which causes them to ram into this place, and we see all this farming stuff just going right out into space. Uh, I guess for Justin's effect here, this is Janus 7 from Gundam Seed, basically, without the nuclear explosion. The
Yeah.
inciting incident of that whole Gundam show. Right here in the origin of Gundam. But yeah, I believe after that we have Garma and Char picking up debris from the wreckage, and we have a Earth Federation ship coming in to land troops on Munzo, because we're also getting all these shots of Munzo in in rebellion, but not really. It seems to be like peaceful shit, and then all of a sudden Earth Federation forces just start opening fire on people.
I mean, it seems more like a riot, but we've seen those before,
Well,
so
we see the start of it, which is just people organizing in the streets, and then all of a
Mhm.
sudden it turns into like Nixon era. Oh no, they put a flower in our gun. Better open fire, you know. And then after that, it turns into like an open rebellion in the streets. People just like perched on sides of overturned cars, firing guns at soldiers.
Yeah.
Which
And
then leads into the Dawn Rebellion.
but there is one aspect of the cleanup. They do see the mobile
Worker.
what's it called? Couple of mobile workers, and Garma basically tells Char, "Hey, listen, I have an in on this. My uncle is developing these things. They're very powerful." And Char's like, "Oh,
I feel like
nice."
you're giving Garma too hard of a stick there on that one. Char goes, "What are those?" And then Garma goes into. He doesn't offer it up out of nowhere. Tell
No, I
me
know there was a
more about
conversation.
these. Yeah, I know. It just sounded
Yeah,
like Garma just gave it up out of no reason. Oh, well, my uncle Dozel knows all about this shit. No, he wouldn't be his uncle, right? Brother. Now that I think about it.
brother. Yeah, they're all
Yeah, just
brothers.
the
He's the
age
youngest.
difference between them all, just so weird.
Yeah.
You got old gray blue haired Giran, and then young blue haired Garma. Anyway, yeah, then we go into the Dawn Rebellion where all the students organize under Char. Well, under Char specifically, but under Garma publicly to. Well, actually, only some of the students, because the other students are being tricked not to participate. We
Yeah.
show that with, oh, you kids get back to your dorms. It's after time or whatever. All right,
Curfew.
is everybody ready? And then, shit. Again, can't remember her name. It's on the board, so if I don't remember now and you don't remember now, it'll happen later. Goes and has to distract Dozel. Just walks to the door, holds a gun on him. Says, "I don't want to get closer to you. That's fine."
Yeah, which it started. I thought, oh, this is gonna go somewhere. Well, it wasn't great because we're talking about a student pulling a gun on somebody, and somebody could have ended up killed. But the sister was like, well, I gotta guess do whatever I need to do to distract this guy. And he's like, what are you doing? He's like, what? Okay, that's not. We're not doing this. He's like, oh no. But there is a talk in the stairwell before they finally go and launch the attack on the garrison beside. Because the idea was that the garrison, there's a Earth garrison right beside the academy, and these are the kids. Essentially, they're from middle class, but also upper classes of the Zeon military or the Zeon government, and therefore they're considered basically hostages. Right? If anything happens, the military deploys, secures the facility. It's like, oh, we got your kids, right?
Well,
You better calm down.
their position is that they're training the kids, and that the Xeon's position is that these. It's the whole. Actually, something we skipped over. There is
Hmm.
the Char getting slapped in the face scene, which is to say that the people training them don't consider them worthwhile for anything, and that they're actually being trained to suppress any other resistances to the Earth Federation from any other colonies and whatnot. And
Yeah,
Char
yeah,
points this out. He's like, "Well, I did such a good job. Can I ask a couple of questions?" He's like, "Sure, whatever." And he asks the questions like, what are we being trained for if we're not, supposed to be? Who are we supposed to encounter that we're being trained to fight in this way? And the dude just gets pissed off, gets angry at his sunglasses because they're not regulation according to him, and just slaps him right off his face, which causes everybody around to get pissed off because they can see the disparity in power that's happening here, and they start chanting, "Put him back on," or apologize. I can't remember, one of the two, because both things
yeah,
happen. Because then Garma steps in, identifies himself, says that's not against regs, and pick them up. So that's what I sorry. That's what it is. Pick them up. And this dude just like doesn't know what the fuck to do, so he picks them up and hands them back, and assumedly apologizes off screen.
yeah. He's outnumbered by all the students, right? And there's like
Yeah.
the three guys who are older, and there's like 30 students who are being spending months physically training with, these are basically soldiers, right? On just their
Yeah,
purposes. It's
but
like if these kids turn, we're screwed.
yeah, but the idea is that this is the Earth Federation base here is for the people that are training them. And
Hmm.
the idea isn't so much that they're holding them hostage, is that What if all of the people stationed here get sent to Munzo? Munzo wouldn't be able to handle the reinforcements. We've got to take out their reinforcements before they can do anything, which will give
Yeah.
our people back home a chance. Which is why they then launch into their assault. A late night. Let's
They're
take.
basically they're striking first before there is any
Yeah, yeah.
active casual on their side.
Sorry, yeah. And that's when the Lino conversation comes into play, which I believe is what I interrupted you there for, where
Yeah.
we get the source of Char's iconic look, which is to say he's wearing a sports helmet, if you
Yeah.
think about it, and Lino identifying him as Casval, which is still fucking insane. Um, Sorry, I had to re-listen to myself talking about it before when I was writing down my notes again, which is to say, I don't know how the fuck Lino figures it out. I can understand Lino figuring out Edward to Char. How the fuck does he figure out Casval to Edward? He has nothing in that field. He just comes up. Anyway, we then get the Dawn Rebellion, which is again the entire assault. The entire assault. Of course, our guys come out victorious, which again the
Uh,
whole. Sorry, go ahead.
but when Lino does that, he says basically to him, "Listen, I know who you are. I support you. If you need anything, I got your back." And now,
Unfortunately, Char needed him to die.
yeah. So basically, that puts it in the mind of Char that he needs to get rid of him, and so he does basically Uriah Gambit, where he says, "Okay, take over this tank and help us out," because the even though they are attacking by surprise, they're basically fighting with APCs and rocket launchers, and the other guys have heavy tanks and armor, artillery. So it's like, "Oh, grab this tank, help us out," and then he tells his elite kill team that has the rocket launchers to take out that tank, and so
I'm trying to
he
remember
gets killed.
the name
Yeah,
of the equipment that they have in Attack on Titan, because they basically have jet versions of those.
yeah, and so that's what happens, and he gets killed, and like, oops, he got killed. And they finally decrees victory over the Fedis, right? The Federation,
I remember it was
and
a sticking point for me that Lino at any point in time could have just changed radio frequencies. You know,
yeah, because
Char, what are they doing? Char, Char, 5 minutes of Char, what are they doing? Instead of, hey, what are you guys doing? I'm Lino, I'm on your side.
yeah, because he told him to switch channels. So there it is. I mean, I guess he trusted a Char. Like Char is, you know,
At no point did he take any effort for self preservation, right? He trusts Char, sure. Char's not responding. Maybe Char's dead? Maybe Char's out of commission. I better do something to save myself. You know? Hey, I recognize you guys. This is the frequency that we were all on just a minute before I changed frequencies. This is Lino in the tank. Don't shoot the tank. I had no problem pointing out inconsistencies in the show. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
I
I'm
know
just
it's a
saying that,
stupidity on Lino's part, which is look. I had notes about Lino. But yeah, they win. I mean, at the end of the day, they win. Dozel, freed from his captivity, rushes up to Garma, crying because his boy is alive and successful, even though he didn't want anything to do with this. Um,
and
that's
that's
that.
it.
Yeah, that's where we end. That is the Dawn of Rebellion and also the Dawn Rebellion.
Yep.
Um,
Episode ends with the shot that confirms
well, I believe it's a famous song that was played
uh
in the
the
Americas on
change,
the
or like the canonical change from
Saturday
Castle to Char.
mornings was that the shot round the world was the start of the revolution. But yeah, I dropped a link to the board. We got updated with all the people from last episode, deaths, whatnot. Where of course again, Johann Ibrahim Revel is over here. The name I could not remember. Otherwise, I got him an antagonistic relationship with Dozel because he was literally on stage with him. Who else? Oh, Rose Lucia died off screen, I believe. I can't remember if that was last episode of this one, but they're all dead. the whole parentage of casval and whatnot gone. Minovsky was introduced. Was that last
Yep.
episode of this one?
It was this episode because they were having a briefing about it because they couldn't solve the power problems.
Yes,
And
our
the eldest
CGI.
eldest brother came in and said, "I'm canceling this program. You guys don't do anything. No, we got to give us more time." And enter Professor Minovsky go like, "No, I have a solution. Give me a year, and you
Yep.
have what you need."
Which is why we have Garen allied with Minovsky, because he's basically working for that reason.
Well, we're also forgetting a big part as well is that we do get a significant amount with two other characters because that's the end of the action with Char, but it's not the end of the episode. I remember because then we go to another ship who's going to Site 7, a professor and his son, and his little round robot, and we do spend quite a bit of time with them
we say
as they're
quite
going
a
to
bit of
this.
time. I think it was literally 3 minutes of
Yeah, but
them
significantly of
going
boarding
through
the
the
ship.
port. Yeah, them doing the
Yeah,
little elevator ride down. We see the air pressure,
change.
and then we see the inside of Side 7 incomplete because that's actually it's the conversation Tem has on the ride over that they were going to
Yeah,
use Luna 2 as resources to make. Sorry, I'm always
right.
trying to remember Luna 2's name because I still have Artemis from Gundam Seed in my head. It's the equivalent.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all we really see with them. I guess it's more so that we see a older Amuro Ray than the child who was running through the spaceport when Sayla saw him in an earlier episode.
He's still what 14?
He's young. He's young. I
Yeah,
think
he's,
I have a
yeah,
note
yeah.
about it, but it's not off the top of my head that I can remember his age. I think we discussed it last time because we saw a gravestone and commented about how old Char would be at the time. Of course, yeah, here we got Lino dead, Char, aznable, parentheses, real, dead, casval, Rem, deikun, Edward, Mass, Char, aznable, parentheses, fake, still alive. Of course, I've made them enemies. He killed them. In my book, if you kill me, that makes me your enemy.
That's enemy.
I mean, unless you're a doctor, in which case
Yeah,
it
I
might
get
be
it.
acceptable. If my doctor kills me, I'm hoping it's on purpose. Um, let's see. I think I already had Caecilia attached to them as enemies before, since she sent assassins out to kill them. Mash, Miguel, and Ortega, all there as part of the test group for the not Gundams, mobile suits and the mobile workers before. And of course, they're all tied to Dozel and the Doctor and Giran, since they're all operating under all that. Oh, that's her name, Zena Mia. That's
Yeah.
the girl who takes Dozel hostage. Have her as a green line because, of course, she did that for the benefit of Zeon. So ultimately, they are allied, even though she had to do something against him. And of course, she was an ally of Lino and Char's. So, boom, 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 boom. Anything I may have missed or other connections you want to reference to the board here?
I don't think we talk about Rambo Rao either. Uh, that has been dropped as well. I
Not
think.
that I
Well,
remember.
I think there was a brief scene, but that was it. Back in
I
the
think,
bar
yeah,
because
I
he's
think that
always.
was 2 episodes ago, wasn't it? The last time we
Yeah.
saw him.
Mhm.
All right, I think that's everything for the board. I, of course, have some thoughts. Let's see here. Char's handling of Lino, I think, goes to express his ability to take on the long-term view of his plans. He had a very convenient moment to kill the man the very first time he brought up what he knew, but killing him there would have raised questions. Of course, we talked about the stairway. I think I made jokes about this before about he could have shoved him down the stairway. He waited and used Lino like a pawn to his ends, getting him killed in the middle of a fight where there would be less of an ability to question what had happened.
Yeah, we talked about that, but I think you were right. I mean, let him live, or he was, from Char's perspective, because he's now become completely paranoid with good reason. Everybody's expendable but him, I says.
Well, again, I think it goes to show that he's not impulsive. Again, it would have been very easy to push Lino down the stairs, say he broke his neck, but he didn't to just, respond to the guy.
But also reminder that Char he's an evil bastard. He's not a good guy.
Well, it depends. I mean, you know who he's working against, because we've seen his past
Yeah.
up until now. So it depends on how far you think revenge is justifiable.
I mean, the fact that he's willing, for example, he starts and ends this part of the story sacrificing people that were clearly on his side, right? People who were apparently could have been his friends, were willing to back him up, right? Because the real Char was so excited. Oh, hey, we're gonna go and be buddies. He goes like, yeah, sure, whatever. Why don't we change clothes and you die in my place? How
Yeah.
about that? Yeah.
Again, it's
And
just
then
how far is revenge justifiable? Are you a fan of Quamzim for our Macross fans? Alright. Our three secret Dozel mobile suit crew guys, Miguel, Ortega, and Mash, going back to episode 1, those guys were with Char during the intro that took place during, see, I never know how to say the years here, UC-79, when they were fighting the fleet alongside Dozel. So, we've seen these guys before. Well, they're the ones complaining about Char.
I did not recall that point.
We've seen their faces. That's the exact. These guys have very. If you need to check the board. They have very identifiable faces.
good animation.
If we were pitching Elseworlds to Universal Century Timeline, I wouldn't mind seeing one where Jimbo Rawl didn't make it to Earth. Everything in Episode 1 plays out the same, except Jimbo gets killed on Munzo, and just the kids escape. They would wind up in Spain and would get adopted by T-Blow without Jimbo there calling on Anaheim and stirring up the Zabis. I don't think the assault that killed Jimbo would happen, as he never calls Anaheim if he never survived. They never would have been sent off to Loum to have met the ensembles. Edward wouldn't be tailed constantly in public to the point of outburst. He wouldn't have met his double in Char, and things could vector off entirely in new directions just if Jimba didn't make it to Earth.
You know what I would think if that was an AU? I actually would see Char, well, not Char, but eventually Edward slash what's casval?
Yep.
Joining the Earth forces just to screw over Zeon. And he would still betray the Air Forces anyway, but he would join them. Like, oh, I'm on Earth. War started. Look, these people are very evil. They drop a thing. I'm going to join in. I'm going to fight in your side. And then it's like, oh, it turns out I don't like you either because you were part of denying my family the rightful rule.
Well, I think in my thing here that could still happen because he'd be in Spain, right? He would predominantly Earth Force would be the only nearby military for him to join, except that we would have also a Char in Zeon who just fucking sucks, probably. Yeah, no.
Yeah, it probably would be like a brief meeting between the two, and it's like, oh, you remember me? Yeah. Boom, you're dead.
Yeah, we have no
Basically.
indication that real Char has any capabilities of doing anything other than riding a horse.
I mean, he would have been an average soldier, basically. I don't even think that he would have been a mobile suit guy. He would have been just like an infantryman or
Well, I mean, we
something
have
like
no.
that.
I should
Yeah.
say we have no idea. We don't get told anything other than the fact he wants to join Zeon, and he's got that real Nazi mentality about him. So
Yeah.
it's just a fun little Elseworlds to consider, all based on one guy getting killed in a situation where he could have easily been killed. It's a minor thing to notice, but I bring it up since no other characters in the show do, or sorry, they don't do it, or I guess have the opportunity to do it. All the Zabi kids' uniforms are different colors, so he's got color-coded kids.
Probably denoting either personal taste or
Memory.
ranking.
I don't remember these kids' names. Hey, Yellow, get over
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, the old man is
Wearing sunglasses all the time? Yeah.
yeah.
Alright. Something kind of funny to consider. Original Char agreed to swap places with Edward in order to get on the flight to Zeon because if he missed this flight, he would be late to his matriculation ceremony. So they do this whole switcheroo, and original Char gets killed in the explosion, and Edward, now Char, has to take the next flight, which is tomorrow morning, right? Except that we then see Char get to the matriculation ceremony anyways.
Just a little bit late.
Just a little bit. Like he arrives there just in time to sit down with everyone else. Original Char is in such a tizzy about getting there on time, it gets him killed. Guy who got him killed gets there on time. So, just funny to think about. Speaking of the matriculation ceremony, it feels like Girin is using this opportunity to refine his speech-giving skills. It feels like it's taking notes from Zeon's writing as inspiration. I guess what better an audience to try out your material on than a bunch of academy kids and their parents? Work it all out before you try it out on the public at large.
Yeah. Also, I think it might be just part of the Zabi tradition that you have to prove yourself, and whatever it is that you do, you got to be a presence for the Zabi family, right? So, in a way, because he is the president of this school,
No, I said
he can't just
Girin.
simply. Oh, Garen.
Yeah, I'm talking about Girin who gives his speech first, and then Dozel comes in and gives his speech as the guy who's running the school.
I mean, yeah, both of them in a way, right? They all have to show that they're the Sabis, right? They are the people who are present. So that speech is his sort of presentation to the world, right? His debutante moment, right?
Well,
I am now on stage.
well, I'm saying I think he's using it as the test for his debutante moment because these people don't matter to me, but I can use them to see how well I'm doing speech-wise, what I might need to change, what I might not need to change.
I mean, but he is still. I mean, it's expected that part of his thing is that he has to have this public presence, right? I mean, it's small scale compared to what his family is doing because it's just a school, but he's always being tested.
I think I'm singling him out because I think they were all there, and
Mhm.
he's the only one who talks other than Dozel, and there's no reason for any of them to talk but Dozel. So
Yeah,
that's why I said it seems like he's doing it just to, you know, figure shit out. Same way he played Go against a computer for no reason. Let's see. We do see how justified the space noids are for wanting to rebel, what with the Federation ship being the cause of the crash, then Federation forces firing on a crowd to suppress the protests. Origin is doing a pretty good job of making Zeon sympathetic.
I think we have to be careful.
Do we?
Justin rule. Justin
Um,
rule.
yeah,
Because I think the word I would use would be context.
here's the thing: why I don't think that is a Justin Rule problem is that we started Origin out watching Zeon fight Federation.
Yeah,
We,
for
yeah, so
but
I
we didn't
yeah
have the
okay I
context.
see what you're saying with the one word that I used possibly, but then again you did start off this whole thing calling someone a fascist, so I don't know.
I mean,
I think that's out there.
yeah.
Try and refrain from using that kind of terminology though. Well, I don't know. I okay, rephrasing. I think it does a good job of making of showing. There's no way I'm going to rephrase this on the top of my head. Anyway, I'll just move on, and we'll agree that this is a problematic thing to say for the Justin rule. I mean, I've got
1 second. Just type when my headphones back on.
oh, uh, no,
No, we're past that part. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
it's okay.
yeah.
We're good.
There was nothing we needed to say. It's what we were talking about. What I shouldn't have said, but I don't. I think you're gonna figure that out anyway. So I think we're good. I just will refrain from doing that again. Moving on though. So we've got some sort of red flash moment last episode when the other student touched Char and then went into a pain-induced shock. The whole fight was odd. Char flicked his fingers off of him, and the guy went sailing across the quad and broke through some bricks on impact. That's been the most anime thing in the show so far. I can't say honestly, have no idea what that was.
Super Saiyan moment.
Yeah, um, yeah. It was weird. I gotta give it that. It doesn't fit in anything that I know. So
Yeah, but it's sort of like very anime moment, like you said, like, oh, the dark aura. Oh, look, I'm a very powerful character. I stand out. Ooh, but without actually seeing like red or black or something covering Char,
because the only conceivable thing that's close to it is when he's piloting the gun tank, and I think he gets like this blue flash just before he opens fire. Not really the same thing, but it's the only time we ever get like flashes when it comes to Char.
Yeah.
And let's see here. It almost feels like without Minovsky and Char, the 1 year war, which we already saw from the opening, might not have actually. I don't even have to say from the opening. It literally said last episode at the very end that started the 1 year war. So, sorry, just really clarifying in my head what's a Justin rule and what's not. We've been told. So, the 1 year war might not have happened or been regulated to a fall of a few small rebellions across some. I've never said this word right before. Banshee. The tubes are called Banshee, and a bunch of tube Banshee together are called a side. Char is pushing the battle cry of the Space Noid uprising harder than Deikun ever wanted to, creating the situation for the fight to start. And had Monopsy not gone out of his way to sell Giran on the mobile suit idea instead of canceling it like they were moving forward with doing, we would have seen fights like the trainees had at the academy, World War II style pillbox defenses and artillery pushes.
Mhm.
So it would have been a completely different show.
Yeah.
It's it's big man history basically. Without these two people, everything would have changed. Let's see. When we are seeing Minovsky's CGI presentation of what a mobile suit will be, with the schematics of a prototype named WAF in the background, he says Minovsky particles block the propagation of electromagnetic waves and inhibit radar and electronic circuits. So, beyond anything else, does that mean all mobile suits are basically stealth assault suits as well? If so, that would explain why they are so hard to shoot, because you'd be eyeballing every shot at least until someone develops some other method of long range detection other than radar.
I'm gonna leave it at that.
Sorry, I think that one was partly a Witch from Mercury jab. So I just realized it makes a little less sense here, but other than reapplying the fact that Minovsky particles do all of these things, I had it in my head to question whether space noids would inherently be weaker due to the rigors of having to go back and forth between zero gravity and centrifugal forces the sides have. Sorry, I guess I must have meant Banshee now that I've defined what a Banshee is. That must imitate gravity. The thought process being that Earth Force soldiers, at least the ones from Earth, might inherently be stronger. But then during the training sessions, we see it looks like they might be compensating for that in other ways. Zeon training has them basically performing a ruck march with 40 kilograms of gear on. Now, do let me know, dear commenters, if I get this wrong, but normal US ruck marches tend to be off of 30 kilograms of weight, the Army and the Marines, that is. And I only saw the Navy SEALs listed as going up to 45 kilograms at the most. Even then, the Zeon cadet has to do 30 kilometers as well, when the typical ruck march is about 19 kilometers here in real life. So Zeon is pushing its cadets as hard as the Navy SEALs when it comes to doing ruck marches, it seems.
Yeah, they're doing the whole Martian expanse thing, right?
I
Where they
am not very far into the expanse because I have paused for a long time.
you should watch it.
Oh
It's
no, I
it's
know, I heard it's amazing. My guy died, and I stopped watching.
Yeah. Who died? Who's your
Uh,
guy?
trying not to. God, it's been so long. He's got the best hair in the show. Does that help you? He used to wear a hat.
So
He
many characters.
investigated things.
Oh yeah. Well, keep watching.
You know, like I said, I paused. I didn't say I stopped. I just paused for a really long time. Anyway, my
Yeah.
point being is that these are people that exist mostly in zero G to simulated gravity, whereas Earth people have Earth gravity. So you'd think that these guys might be weaker for the whole space effect on bones and whatnot. But my point being is that when they're being trained for the military, they're being trained harder than our real life Marines are. So I think the underlying thing between Char and Garma's relationship, beyond Char's drive to get closer to the Zabi family to enact his revenge, or his sociopathic acting to remain distant from his true feelings, I feel like there was something when when Garma was telling Char that Zabi men don't fail, and that he doesn't have to understand that. Where one may think the reference to the Zabis might infuriate Char, I think I saw a moment of understanding there. In the second and first episode, all we got was Jimba going on about what the Zabis did to Zeon and how they would be made to pay. I mean, he even gave Edward classes on it back in Spain. I'd like to think that Char looked back on that scene with a glimmer of recognition for the pressure their respective adults were putting on their shoulders outside of their own desires. I could be entirely wrong, but that was my read. I also feel like every time Char also challenges Garma to not rely on the influence of his name, like he's trying to distance Garma from everything he plans to do to that family. I mean, the sociopath stuff comes back again later to make me think otherwise too, but I guess there is just hope there for a legitimate human connection beyond his plot for revenge.
Yes and no. Char, because of the position he needs Garma still. Yeah, he might be a talented student and all that, but he needs an in with the Zabi, like you said earlier. And if he can prop Garma up and make him dependent on him as his right hand man, then it's like, aha, you know. So yeah, it's a thing. So
Justin also weighs in with Garma as a pawn from the very beginning of that relationship. My point was more so that I feel like I see understanding in his eyes when they're having that conversation, but also scenes like Garma is asleep at his desk and Char like puts the blanket up over him. Garma's asleep. That doesn't help his plot at all. It's a very human moment.
true. But I think at the end of the day, for everything we've seen up to this point, Char will always do Char first and foremost. Right?
That's what they say, don't they? Char will always do Char first. Alright. Well, before we move on to I have like 3 comments left, but I'm just waiting for Justin to. Garma, I guess Justin's microphone don't work anymore. Garma is a potential scapegoat from the very beginning, says Justin. Look, I know it's Justin's micro doesn't work. Justin's internet don't fucking work. We're sidetracking this stuff. Uh, Garma is a scapegoat from the very beginning. Well, all I have to say to that is Justin rule. So, let's see. Next up, Edward's grave on Loum said 57 to 74, meaning Char is currently 19 at the current date of UC 76 when we first see the grave. It also means that must have been asleep when I wrote this. That as we rush forwards to UC 79, that he will only be 22 years old during the 1 Year War. Ironically, it also means that despite the fact that our recap in the start of the episodes are framed as a history of Zeon deikun and his influence over Munzo, the fact that we also start in the year UC 57 makes the entire recap of the story of the world from the birth of Casval.
Yeah, very much his story.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying it's all of they talk about Zeon Daikun specifically. I mean, and they frame it as everything that he was going to do. Da, 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 da. But the year they decided to start on is the year Casval was born, which very makes it the story of Jesus Christ. You know. Let's see. Also, what the fuck opening fire on a peaceful crowd of protesters. We got a long shot of the crowd. It wasn't an armed mob of rioters, because of course not. This is their home. I'm kind of disappointed that we didn't get to see Ramba Rao and his small connected group of fighting people, or people fighting against the Federation. We saw him throw down in a bar over a matter of words. You'd think we'd see him on the streets going urban warfare on the war criminals of the Federation.
Well, he is working on a bigger project. So my guess is that, which points a yes. I think what happened is that Char jumped the gun, essentially. Zeon was preparing for war. That's why they need the mobile suits. They wanted that advantage, but then this got because during that scene they were like, "No, you got to bring people into control, etc. We need to put this, kibosh on this."
Yeah,
And it's
Degwin
like,
to Giron.
and Garen was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna play it out a little longer." And his old man was like, "Are you sure about that? Because we don't have the capability right now to do it, right?"
I mean, that was my
So
defense of Degwin before, was that Degwin clearly doesn't want this. So, it's Giron that's pushing everything. Giron is
I
the,
think
we've
no.
seen,
I think Deadwin does want it. He wants it on his own time. He's the one who's being patient. He's the one who's like, make sure everything is online, everything is planned out. Then we make our move.
it very much
This,
seems like he's happy just to be able to control Munzo. He doesn't want a war with the Federation because he doesn't think he can win a war with the Federation, which is exactly what he says to his
yeah.
son, who's his son, by the way, is the only one we've seen pushing military projects. So, if all
But
we
is
can
he
work
doing
on,
it?
well, if all
The
we can
question
work
is
on
it
is
do?
what we can see, then the idea is that all we've seen Degwin do is jack and shit.
Okay. Question is he actually doing it without his knowledge from his father? Because where is he getting the money and the resources?
I mean, who knows? They're like noble families if you believe they might have their own funding
I mean,
or the
true, but that
people.
means
You know that. Sorry, I don't mean to make this super political at the moment. It's just a fact that I saw that Trump's the amount of money donated to Trump skyrockets every time he gets convicted of a crime. Do you think there might not be an element of that with the Zabi family that every time they move to stand against the Federation, the people that support them on Munzo might not be funding them?
true. I mean, probably have even my support outside of that. I mean, they had support in Texas and other places. So yeah,
I think
um,
Texas is on a different side than Munzo. No, is it on the same side?
I think so.
I can't remember. Loum. Texas is Loum, right?
Colombia.
Let's see. It might be in my notes. Oh, nope. Loam is side 5. I had a tracking of notes here to make sure everything we've learned so far. Munzo is side 3, Loom is side 5.
So they
It's
have
just
support
nearby.
outside of nearby. So they do have support from other areas as well, right? Um,
But
and at least other colonies.
also the fact that Degwin has to have this conversation with Giran about what the hell are you doing implies that he may have only just recently found out about things.
Yeah, but I still believe that at the very least. Okay, Justin Rule. Never mind.
I'm just realizing here. Where'd my thought go? Can I just take a moment to say Lino Fernandez, world's greatest detective, shame he couldn't spot danger right in front of his own face.
Hmm.
Well, again, he had to have been world's greatest detective to have figured out that Edward was Casval. There was no evidence connecting the two. But he just knew. I guess because his eye color was different. Garma Zabi is such the weak point of the Zabi family. Not because of his easily swayed personality or unsureness of self, but the fact that everyone loves him to the point of using him as a threat against one another. Even the psychopath put him in her car to make sure that she was safe. Sorry, that he was safe when she bombed her brother. Sorry, I said that weird, but you know what I'm talking about. Cecilia put him in her car to make sure that he was nowhere near getting bombed in the car bombing that she was doing. And again, it goes back to my discussion about the fact that Degwin wanted Garma in his car because he was like, "Where's Dozel at?" The conversation we had before. Anyway, those are all my thoughts. You all have any thoughts of your own you want to throw in here before we get to this?
I think it's interesting because we're halfway through this, and this kind of feels like, oh, it's the origins. Now we know how the all started, right? We have all the pieces together, but we have 3 episodes to go, so I'm curious where we're going from here.
Oh, I'm going to say it how you said it. Garmin is even a pawn to his own family, let alone other characters. Isn't that a toilet paper brand? No, that's Charmin. Sorry, I'm just thinking of all those times that we have to watch bears wipe their ass with toilet papers. Sounds like a bear's name, Garmin. Well, I mean, is he really though? Because at the moment, well, before the Dawn Rebellion, rather, uh, I don't know that Dozel was even because all we see Dozel goes, huh? He's got failing physical grades, but he's doing good academically. So we know Dozel's like keeping an eye on him, but he didn't have like plans for him or anything. All right, well, with that said, I guess we should just go ahead and get on into it.
But before we get started,
Make sure that you hit the like button.
Hit that subscribe button.
Comment down below to feed that algorithm.
on top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this,
Unfiltered.
Uncensored.
And uncut.
as well as some early access stuff,
You can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
人類が新たな天地を求めて宇宙に進出した時代、
Yes, the moon.
宇宙世紀と名付けられた。彼らの未来は地球の周りに建設された巨大なスペースコロニーに委ねられたのだ。
From this angle, that looks like just a big empty space inside of there.
宇宙世紀0057、地球から最も離れたサイド3にスペースノイドの独立と人類の革新を訴える指導者が現れた。その名はジオンズム・ダイ君。宇宙世紀0068。
He was allergic to the lemonade.
Really is a Trotsky, Lenin, Stalin situation.
Yeah.
一気に爆発した。長く大君を支え、その右腕と称されてきたデギン・ザビは、この機会を逃さなかった。
Turn you down like 50%, see if that helps.
を打倒し、ムンゾの実権を掌握した。大君の妻アストライアは幽閉され、その子キャスバルとアルテイシアは
Her name, as close to it is to her daughter's name, always fucks me up. Australia and Artesia. Without looking at them.
ラルケの棟梁ジンバラルと共にかろうじて地球へ脱
Turning you up a
出し
little
た
bit。more.
それから3年、
69%, nice.
Nice.
アルテイシアはセイラ、キャスバルはエドワウと名を変え、
I wonder what we're going into based off the fact that we're
大君
getting
をテラブロ
basically
マスに
full
かくまわ
recap.
れて暮らしていた。
My guess would be the next episode.
That can't be true. I think we're going to the previous one.
A very Dark Souls moment right there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he very much sounded like a Tuscan raider there at his death. See? Side 5, loum.
が、そこでは運命の出会いが待っていた。エドワウマス。
No, you're Edward Mass.
しかし、
Ah, don't
母と
do
の
this.
再会を待ちわびるセイラに秘宝が届く。母さんが。母アストライアの死の知ら
Oh,
せだ
they're
っ
gonna
た。
do it.
エドワウはセイラに別れを告げ。アルテイシア。
This field is filled with banana peels.
さようなら、アルテイシア。
Oh no, my jacket. That was expensive.
新たなる一歩を踏み出す。復讐の第一歩を。
Oh, found one.
宇宙世紀0074。シャアと密かに入れ替わったエドワウは
Interesting that they decide to do the numbers in
自
English.
治共和国の士官学校に入学した。
Yeah, anime is weird sometimes.
そこにはザビ家の御曹司ガルマ・ザビがいた。
先生、一両ガルマザビ。君の宮殿だ。
宿命の絆を結ぶシャアとガルマ。一方、天才科学者ドクターミノフ
No,
ス
that's
キー
not
の
char,
協
that's
力を得た
casval.
ドズル・ザビは新兵器モビルスーツの開発を進めるが突発事故を機に事態は急変する。
Also implies that they got somebody on the research team who's just good with CGI.
Mm-hmm.
独立を求めて市民
So
が
look at that.
起したのだ。
Like, what the fuck, man?
連邦軍兵を攻撃。
連邦軍による弾圧を許してはならない。シャアはガルマを先導して士官学校の学生たちを放棄させる。
スペースノイドの生命、権利と財産を守るためだ。よーし、出撃だ。
しかし、ただ一人、シャアの正体を見破った学生がいた。同じルームの出身、リノ・フェルナンデスだった。
Also, a fellow loum native? No?
Oh, the way he pronounced Fernandez well, so props to the
Japanese voice actor pronouncing
Yeah.
the Spanish name right.
especially with a lot of R's.
戦いの中、シャアは同志になると誓っていたリノを葬ってしまう。
Maybe it was a test. Maybe he wasn't really trying to kill him. If this guy can figure out how to switch his radio frequency, he's an ally.
What's this dial on the radio do? That must turn it off.
宇宙世紀0077。ガルマ・ザビの指揮のもと、士官学校の学生204名の放棄は、地球連邦軍治安部隊を武装解除させた。
He's pretty badass. Because you know it was like 100 to
暁の
1.
放棄と呼ばれたこの事件は、人類最大の悲劇、世に言う一年戦争
I'm
の
so happy that
発端
Garma's
となっているのである。
such a military
そうした中、
genius.
テムレイは連邦の秘密工場があるサイド7で
アムロレイ、13歳です。
独自にモビルスーツの開
So
発に
Char
着
is
手して
20
い
right
た。
now, and Amuro is 13.
サイドセブン。
Here we go.
ガーディアンパンチの英雄たちの行進です。地球連邦軍の治安出動の企みをわずか204名で打ち砕いた士官学校候補生たちの行進。この暁の
Between those vehicles and the coloration,
我らがガルマザビ候補生です。
that sky view shot was not amazing.
あ、ガルマ隊長が観衆に手を振っています。
It's funny that Zena is being hailed as a hero. Literally the only member of the entire Zeon team that pointed a gun at another Zeon.
なんであるか、あのバカ騒ぎは。彼らは犯罪者だ。連邦は全員の処罰と責任者の引き渡しを要求する。
責任者は私の弟だ。それでも引き渡せと？
弟だろうがなんだろうが。
Your fist must really hurt.
話は伺った。レビル将軍。即下の将兵の被られた被害には哀悼の意を表する。直ちに相応の処置を取る。ただし、少数のガルマではなく、監督責任を負っているしかるべき立場の者に。
What, like the guy who'd charge?
我がジオン共和国
Yep.
はかような事態の再発をのみ憂う。災いを糧としてこれを機に連邦との新しい関係を築きたい。ただし資産の没収と連邦軍の完全なる撤収を前提として。バカ者！何のために士官学校校長の任に当てたと思うか。お前の最も大事な役目はガルマを守ってやることだ。いいか、この役立たずめ。
I feel like there's a history of abuse there.
Yep.
大事なお話中でしたか。
ああ、もう終わった。ガルマ、わしの部屋へ来なさい。
お父様、ご機嫌が悪いですね。
Oh, I have a prediction. 12 guys gonna use Garmat as the inciting factors
そうですか。
for the separation.
I mean, he already has. But he told them to get off and leave all your assets here. So
It's gonna be him publicly being killed.
だが、お前だけは気性が優しい。お前は士官学校になぞ入れず、学者にでもすればよかった。ここへ来い、ガルマ。ここへ来て、わしの手を取ってくれ。どうだ、わしの手は
Rips it off.
冷たいか。
Boom.
いえ、暖かいですよ。
This was the start of one of my more insidious conspiracies about Degwin.
お前の頬も温かい。しばらくこうしていてくれ、ガルマ。
Okay.
不憫なことをした。置いてからこなぞ、作るものでない。
Said my wife.
お前がガルマを焚きつけたことくらいは察しがついているんだ。だから身代わりで割りを食ったとは思うなよ。何か言いたいことは？
ありません、大佐殿。
いい覚悟だな。よし。どうする？これから。
地球へ行ってみようかと思っています。 この機会に。
機械か。
ではシャーズナブル候補生兵卒として除隊します。お世話になりました。
ああ、元気
I mean,
だな。
also, the one guy you've seen in all your reports who's got, like, the best stats of every soldier you've ever seen.
もしも
Mhm.
再招集されることがあれば、その時はモビルスーツのパイロットの任に当ててください。
モビルスーツガルマに聞いたのか。わかった。留意しておく。
ご配慮に感謝します。
Snap. You know what? I bet they say no.
なんだお前らは。さっさと下がれ。
Those who respects a woman that can hold me at gunpoint.
今日は危ないものを持ってはいないだろうな。はい。今度のことで俺はここの職を辞することになった。隕石辞任腹切りである。
はい。
こんな男だが時には傷つくこともある。 人に慰めてもらいたいと。
Oh, see, this is what I was afraid was going to happen last time.
妻を持とうと思ったことはなかったが、恥ずかしながら今。
Felt it coming.
What? He's just being open about his feelings.
No,
Yeah,
he's
but she's
not.
like, what, 17?
Okay, I'm gonna say something now that I held off last time saying. He's like 17 too. He doesn't look it, but he is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. This is like between episode research that I had to do because I didn't feel comfortable with that scene either. Dozel's not being a creep. He is literally about the same age as everybody else around him.
Okay.
It's the weird things you do, I guess, when one of the bad guys seems to be a good guy the whole time. You give them the benefit of the doubt. And sometimes they turn out to not be the creep that you see them being.
Dozel was a teenager in like the 70s, where they all look 45.
He's the teenage version of Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know, he's just massive for no good reason.
Mm-hmm.
And now, in a completely different show.
And now for something completely different. Okay. He's training.
Now he's constructing.
あれのリース、もう打ち切りだってよ。本当なんすかそれ。
No, because he knows that the mobile suits are based off of those types of
There's one thing that's always consistently
Robot worker,
disgusted
yes.
me throughout my entire life. It's cigarette butts.
開発部にいたんですがね。
So seeing that ashtray just loaded with them is just like, oh, to me.
最低ですよ、ジオンは。
Also weird that they made Char a smoker.
I see it.
I've got
It's the
this
70s here.
I've got this perfect body that's surpassing everything. Anyway, let me just get some lung cancer in there.
カジノまで見せ開きかよ。また負けだ。監督、もうやめましょう。いや、もう一勝負。
That's called gambling. You might have a problem.
旦那様がなさる。そこをどけ、貧乏人。
当たった一目かけで36倍。
ネクスト、ゲーム。
I mean, what idiot would cheat and go 36 times on a bet?
Yeah.
The trick to gambling and cheating is not winning too much so you don't look like you're cheating.
That's wild.
リーダー交代。
はーい。ゲーム。
Do we just switch animes again to like a gambling anime with superpowered people?
I mean, Char's right there, so at the very least, you know, Char's in the scene.
She can read dudes, but can't read her.
Yeah.
My thing is, I recall having a lot of questions about this scene, so just.
Yeah.
やあ。何してるんだい？昨日は叱られたのか？
Damn it, I got a face full. Can you not see it?
昨日の客の一人。なぜ途中から外した？
あの女の人が下手だったから。
Oh, she did it on purpose.
私に話しかけるとひどい目に遭うのよ。
おお、怖いんだな、あのおじさんたち。それは
This is
君の家族か。大勢だな。どこにいるんだ？
ムンバイ。
インドか。遠いな。帰りたいだろ
う。うん。お金を送っているから。私がいるよりお金を送ってあげた方がいいの。
I see what's happened here.
それにしてもひどいな。
水に濡れたからこうなりました。もう元には戻らないでしょうか。
できるよ。データで補正してプリントし直せば。
本当？じゃあお
I
願い。
mean,
そうして。
you're not really fixing it at that point, you're just changing it.
お前はまたこんな男と。
High five.
What's up, buddy? Nice to meet you.
いい船をお持ちだ。安い買い物じゃなかったはず。その金はどこから？天才ギャンブラーの旦那。
I was going to point out, everyone else has irises. That girl don't. Just giant green eyes.
Yeah. Oh, look, you don't got a boat no more.
Or men. Or money.
Mhm.
And if these guys catch you, not you're gonna have your life either. Yeah, those guys came prepared.
お前な、連れ込むなよ、あんなやつ。
仕方ないでしょ。ついてきちゃったんだから。
マナウスの田舎マフィアなんかに舐められてたまるか。
アーガって人が来てるよ。あんたの連れだってさ。
ああ、来たか。
Don't trust him.
See, I don't remember if he had those scars before or
俺
not.
はあいつらの子分になるよ。あいつらの方がもっと金をくれる。
よくもそんなことが言えたな、この恩知らず。今まで散々いい思いをさせて。
I assume you've seen Xena, Warrior Princess?
やめろ。彼は今までより。
Maybe you have watched this fancy light.
待て。その子は置いていけ。お前はどっちだ。腕か首か。どっちもごめんだな。やめて。暗がりでも見える。
Another flash.
まぐれだ。避けることなん
He
か
just cocked his shovel.
I think so. Isn't a baseball swing hit it back?
Yep.
Nope.
Oh, I see what he did. Homeboy's a vampire confirmed. Killed by a wooden stake.
That doesn't describe a lot of people.
立て。僕について走れ。遅れるな。
長五郎の工事屋さんは大事なお客さんだ。こっちも荒っぽいこと。
This dude looks like he should represent like Jake the Snake.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Didn't know that was an option. Behold all the reject bad guys from G.I. Joe.
His G.I. Ted is a spin-off that never went anywhere.
やらと言ったな。あれは何だったんだろう。
あれ？
見えるはずもない後ろから来る武器をなぜか感じて一瞬目をかわした。お前は何か言ったか？
え？いえ。
そうか、変だな。
Suppose he is aided by the fact that we can't see his eyes.
Yes. There's a good chance that that all of these workers have been sentenced to death with this one action.
どこ？遠いところってアメリカ？ジャパン？
違う。もっと遠い。星の世界だ。
The Southern Cross?
軽はずみなものどもの暴挙でジオンとの関係は決定的に悪くなった。世界は行くところまで行かねばならんようだ。RX78 計画はうまくいっているかね。
はい。
君はドクター・ミノフスキーの一番弟子だったな。
はい。
この映像はそのミノフスキー博士のルートで手に入ったものだ。君の率直な意見を聞かせてくれ。
MS-04
20 meters.
モビルスーツと呼ばれているらしい。
Okay.
まもなくサイドセブンに入港します。そのままお待ちください。
I guess the Earth Federation is not that incompetent.
エリア、青く。
知られていないそうだ。
モビルワーカーという工作機械がありましたな。
Shut the fuck up.
我がジャブロー基地建設の現場にも。
いいえ、あれとは違うものです。全く違うと言っていいほど進化を遂げている。
これが多分バオアクーだろう。彼らが岩石
That's bad pixelation. I can see it says 8.7 Gs.
盾と重火器を装着。
Either 80 or 90%.
これは
100ミリの実体だ。
戦車砲レベルですな。
貨物船です。アルカナクラス。
It's funny. I did a breakdown on its weaponry the last time around that I know I can't do now because I was comparing it to Gundam Seed stuff because we had both been watching Gundam Seed.
こけ脅しですな。
我が艦船なら100ミリ弾で沈むわけはない。
They're tank rounds. What the fuck are you talking about?
RCX76 ガンキャノンの方が。
いや、もうドクター・ミノフスキーがついに完成させたのです。ゴップ将軍、先ほどこの映像はミノフスキー博士のルートで入手と言われましたか。
外で話そうじゃないか、レイ君。
You need to be careful what you say next.
ミノフスキー博士が
引き抜いたということだな。アナハイム社がジオニック社から。月へ行ってくれんか、レイ主任。
月へですか。
博士は
Yeah,
ジオニッ
that
ク社の
giant
工
thing
場
above
のある
us.
グラナダからフォン・
It,
ブラウン
it orbits the planet and has its own gravitational pull.
それを演
That's not important right now.
ミノフスキー博士にどれほどの価値があるか判断がつきかねていたが、さっきの君の評価では
I want you to go to a moon
遠い
base.
コロニーから来てもらってまた出張で申し訳ないが、
Wait for a British man to
面白
come
い
and
ものだね。
judo chop everybody.
このブラジリアからではアマゾンの遥か彼方のジャブローは見えないが、もっと遠い月はよく見える。宇宙というのは案外狭いものなのかもしれないね。
Well, Gop, actually here. Space
ミノフスキー博士がトップに立つことになれば、サイドセブンでの君のプロジェクトもさらに進展するだろう。
ちゃんと食べるのよ。じゃあね、また明日。早く起きるのよ。遅刻しちゃダメよ。バイバイハロー。バイバイブラウン。
This is where the part where watching both this and Seed is gonna fuck me up because I want to call her Haw, which is Fraw in Seed. So
フラウボーと言います。クラスメートです。近所に住んでます。
gotta reacclimate myself.
お仕事とてもお忙しいって聞いてます。でもアムロ君のことですけど、いつも一人なのがかわいそうで、もっと話とかしてあげてください。
He's always alone, so I come over and touch
す
his
み
bum.
ません。さよなら。
アムロ、帰ったぞ。またこの調子だ。
あ、お帰りなさい。
少しは片付けろ。汚い。
Well, if I didn't have such an absentee father.
今度は月まで行かなくちゃならん。 とても大事な仕事だ。コーヒーを入れてくれ。
はい。
これからますます忙しくなる。お前もアムロ、ズボンを履きなさい。だらしない。
はい。
Sorry, have you seen the apartment?
女の子を家に入れていたのか。
Also, a very weird thing there. The Haru bounce.
なったら大人になるんだ。
Implying it's what, made of elastic?
At least has some sort of elastic qualities.
By the way, it's Universal Century 78 now. Remember how at the end of the Dawn Rebellion, thus began the One-Year War?
ついにここまで来ましたね、博士。あと少しの辛抱です。
Welcome to the moon base.
着きました、閣下。降りよう、キャサリン。
そうね。ベルクマン少佐。
Y'all might not remember this, and I'm not going to correct anything. I just want to indicate this was my earlier spoilers on the board that I put up that I forgot to take out and didn't tell you.
I think you mentioned something about spoiler in not removing it, but...
Well, I corrected it by the next time you guys saw the board, but I had it on there and it just didn't...
It is always night in the dark side of the moon, you moron.
It's where Pink Floyd writes all their songs.
Yeah.
その間に小休止ぐらいは取れるんでしょうね、タイ殿。
いいホテルがあるとは言わんが、先乗りした赤いのが途中でコーヒーを入れて待っている。
そいつだ。その赤い。
Trying to figure out how to say this. But I don't think it's spoiler either way, but these are my favorite versions of these. I don't want to name them because I don't think the show has named them yet, so these are my favorite versions of these.
Got it. Rounded front face or duck face?
Oh, Rawls.
Got it. The moon was smooth once, but then mobile suits walked on it.
ミノフスキー博士は工場部に向かいました。予定より早い行動です。
リークはうまくいったようね。
閣下、博士がもう。いや、失礼しました。もとい、キャサ。
さあ、エスコートしてくださいな、少佐。
光栄です、ミセス・キャサリン。
Ty, put a coat on real quick.
一つお尋ねしてよろしいでしょうか。
何かしら。
これは決してもよろしいでありますか。
お好きになさい、ミスター・ベルクマン。
良い一夜を、まだ。
お二人で夜のグラナダへわざわ
Who is this Catherine, and why does she have so much power?
どこかムードのいいお店。
The other city.
困るんだよ。迷惑なんだよ。うちとしては。わざわざサイドセブンから来てくれた君には悪いけどね。そりゃあ聞いているよ。ミノフスキー博士の亡命の件はね、ここへ来ることも知っとる。だがね、何をしに来るというんだ今さら。
しかしアナハイム社が引き抜いたとゴップ将軍は。
本社がしたことだ。何にも分かってない。いいかね。すこぶる順調なのだよ。ここの RCX76 プロジェクトは。よろしい。
Guy who I have to note still has a photocopier in his office in the future.
Hey, those are future copies. Okay, they're like 2% nicer.
すでに軍に納入を開始した。テスト結果も良好だよ。ジオニック社では MS04 が予算オーバーで、スペックを落とした MS05 を開発中だってね。
One of the reasons why I like it. We'll just say MS04 is my favorite of those because it's the higher spec model. It also just looks cool.
当面 RX78 は。ああ、そうだ。
Ah, boy, does this guy go down in history on the right side.
恩師なんだろう、君の。なんなら君が接待してやってくれたまえ、ミノフスキー博士を。
You know, he's like the CIA agent in America saying, "Say hi to that genius Einstein for me." Can't wait till Von Braun gets here.
これではない。ミノフスキー博士がモビルスーツと名付けたのはこれではない。これではないんだ。
Okay.
Can you ever imagine being one of those anime people in real life? Would just like go crazy and shout stuff in an empty room?
A little bit.
Only if they check the rearview mirror.
フォンブラウン、応答してくれ。こちら TYM。計画を実行した。
Minovsky, not that much of a pacifist.
No.
Willing to switch sides on two people's deaths.
I mean, I think he's literally the Von Braun of the story.
ルート1を西へ走行中。
Well, I mean, the irony is he's running to Von Braun. As his handy map will show you.
現在博士はこの地点です。まだ長旅だ。出迎えがいるな。スミス海に高熱源体の移動確認。ジオンの新しい人型兵器と思われます。そんなものが月面にいるのか。数は4機確認しました。たったの4機か。敵兵中隊を出せ。中隊？全部ですか。そうだ。牛刀で鶏を裂くような真似はしてないが。
Everyone!
大事だからな。
司令。私も現場に行かせてください。ガンキャノンの実戦をぜひこの目で見たい。
Oh, of course. No wonder. They were gun cannons.
As opposed to sword cannon?
Well, for your reference, as opposed to gun tanks, I guess, but
yeah,
it's more for the audience, I guess. Not a spoiler, because they literally just called them gun cannons. All I did was say the name again. Also, Iron Cavalry is a badass name.
It absolutely is.
Can they live to the word?
Well, hopefully not. If they're made of iron, and they kind of suck.
Reminder that this was in the 1970s.
I don't know. A lot of sci-fi still has discos.
Yeah, but that is just literally disco at its best.
フォン・ブラウンの連邦軍が動き出しました。虎の子の鉄騎兵中隊を出したようです。
そう。最高の夜になりそうじゃないの。
Do the hustle. Do. Who's that in that red mobile suit?
I believe it's casval.
質問にお答えしなければなりませんか。当たり前だ。なんだ一平卒のくせにその態度は。では答えます。ビーコンは敵に察知されます。そんなものがなくても、順位殿はここに来られたのでしょう。
静かにしろ。
ウサギが近づいてきた。
Nocto Vision.
いよいよ。ウサギ狩りか。まだ手を出すな。止めるのが先だ。
I mean, we already know the point of hiding is already moot, because they've been detected on heat signature alone.
Yep.
こちら TYM モビルスーツが待ち伏せていた。助けてくれ。了解。直ちに救援に向かう。
Char is about to wipe out this fleet.
なぜだ。なぜだ、博士。共にモビルスーツを開発してきたのに。
But he doesn't care about your fight.
I mean, it's like, you were loyal. Why did you decide to defect?
大丈夫です。今連邦軍の救援が来ます。逃げられん。
I mean, even to our benefit. Why did he decide to defect?
Mm-hmm.
He's the one that had to sell Giran on the idea.
赤いモビルスーツを一機確認。さらに前方に4機。
They was he was probably the CGI guy, and they said no more CGI.
Mm-hmm.
5機。4機じゃなかったのか。まあいい。
Oh, I see why the red one isn't. Yep. Remember when we talk about Ace Customs?
Got it.
I don't think that applies here, because they only have the one model.
Actually, it would.
Because they're still only developing the MS-05, they just said. Unless you're just talking paint job.
It's real convenient that you have those ones numbered so we could figure out the order they die.
There's 12 in there. Iron Cavalry, I mean.
I believe so.
Again, they're going full auto with tank rounds.
Mm-hmm.
Well, to observe, actually. I thought we came here to observe.
Mm-hmm. I need to see how they fight.
No, I mean, that's what he sold him on. Let me go out there and let me watch the battle. You guys don't know how happy it makes me feel to watch a mobile suit fly up to, like, the bridge of a ship and actually hit it. All the Gundams I've watched up until now, they never fire the moment they float right in front of the screen.
I think it's great that
Char has
they're
done
like,
it
hey,
twice.
I see you. Boom. Earth forces are clearly screwed in this fight so far.
I mean, this battle is basically the Monitor v Merrimack of mobile suits.
Well, that battle was a little more even than this.
Well, I mean, they thought they were even. They thought they were even, and we have 12, and they have 4 or 5, as it turns out. Well, sci-fi rules. Only run straight ahead.
Yep. You're gonna crush him. He's fine. He lives.
Arguably,
You
even the
idiot.
way that he was flopping around, Minovsky could have jumped backwards, and that thing would have gone right past him.
Yeah, well, he's an old man. He got scared, so.
Yeah. I mean, so scared he couldn't run to either side.
You can't zig or zag in anime.
お断りします。グラナダはあくまで中立です。ジオンに組みして戦争に協力することはできません。同じ月面都市としてフォン・ブラウンとは長年友好を保ってきました。その関係の破壊を想定したようなお話には到底同意いたしかねます。
待ってくれ。
そう、ご苦労様。ラルタイによろしく伝えて。市長、私の部下がスミス海で連邦の機械化兵団一個中隊を全滅させたそうよ。知っておかれるとよい。ジオンにはもうこれくらいの力があるのです。
そんなバカな。
Funny, because, they don't want to ally with Zeon against Earth Force when they think Zeon just is like fucking backwater.
Exactly.
Principality of Zeon, you might say.
とにかく確認しなければ。
キロ気をつけて。グラナダの
Sorry, I just thought they sieged when they should have Zeon.
Oh.
You don't even know what that means. Don't laugh.
They can't see on in front of their face.
ここを拠点にフォン・ブラウンを攻めるなんて一言も言ってない。
それは
シリア機関におしゃべりはいらないわ。
Ah.
すみません。SS キュースリン。
バカね。それはもういいのよ。
I mean, to be fair, it wasn't much of a charade.
No.
Or electric cars are pretty explosive.
By the way, I don't know if you noticed there in the actual text of the newspaper, it actually does spell out everything about the accident, the suspects in it. It was on screen for half a second. And they wrote it. The guy's name was Smokey Wilson, by the way, the mayor.
Oh, he's smoked now.
It was a great detail that I loved when I was going back. You know, I pause on scenes like that.
They will soon have a new mayor.
だから責任を取らせてください。皆さんの力で RX の次期計画を前進させてください。
調子が良すぎるんじゃないのか。引っ込め。
退場します。
But out. How do I get the fuck out of this room?
この後モビルスーツの開発はどうするんです？中止するんですね。そしてジオニック社の軍門に下るんですね。ミノフスキー博士は 我が社に協力すべく亡命を図られましたが、果たせず亡くなられました。私は現場にいながらお助けできなかった。博士の意志を継ぐべきです。
そう言ってもな。
お気持ちはわかりますけど。
ご心配なく、プロジェクトは進行しています。もう一息なのです。お見せしましょう。我々の決定的プラン。
RX-78.
これです。RX-78。コードネームはガンダム。
Gundam.
And in this series, that doesn't stand for anything.
It has to, you know?
If you don't know lessons, Gundam Seed. Gundam has an abbreviation for something, and it's fucking stupid.
He does as well.
Yeah, but Seed doesn't exist in other series. Seed is for Seed.
In that case, in Wing, do they have Wing?
Nope.
That's a shame.
Gundam Seed is all about abbreviations, apparently. Problem with Control AI.
Now we switch animation.
How the
style.
fuck is that plant still alive?
I don't know.
This guy's never here. Who's watering that plant? It's not Amuro.
It's probably a fake plant.
同時に連邦からの独立を宣言。
Big Zeon. Look, had myself drawn on the Zeon side. It's obvious what side I'm fighting for here in the war. Yeah, saw that face.
I'm fighting for the mysterious third faction.
I mean, technically. Look, none of you guys can see the overlay right now. I can see exactly the spread. So what's that? Is that dock sound? It's not dock sound. What is that? No, the dog that they had.
I do not know.
Theological term from the older colonies. Older centuries. Okay, misread that.
おかえりなさい。アムロ君、一緒
緒に帰ろう。さ、疲れてない？ちょっと。夜とかいつも遅いんでしょ？ゆうべ夕食食べた？
食べたよ。
そうならいいんだけど。
いや、生活ひどい。アムロ君にもイエローカードですか？夜更かしはいけませんよ。授業中の居眠りはダメよ。不純異性行為は許しません。うるさい。怖っ。よろしく指導してもらいたまえ。アムロ君。
Insert group of cackling bullies that resemble hyenas.
I think they had an Aerosmith logo on their truck.
特にカイさんは不良で留年してて。どうしたの？
用事を思い出した。僕ちょっと。
アムロ君。ねえ、クリスマスどうするの？一人なんでしょ？ケーキ作って持って行ってあげる。
You know, that famous Christmas thing. Cake.
I mean, it is.
Is it?
Japanese. If you're Japanese, yes.
Oh, sure. So is KFC.
Yeah.
Should have gone in for the advertising dollar.
Haru being the homie.
また軍事用語だ。これのどこがコロニーの建設資料？
Korea is neutral. Not there with the Federation.
何やっているんだろう。
連邦宇宙軍総司令官のレビル中将は会見で次のように述べました。戦争回避への期待は捨てない。なぜならばこの戦争
Oh, fuck off, Rebel.
人類がかつて経験したどの戦争より悲惨なものとなるだろうから。
Okay.
A real Starship Troopers vibe to that one.
Yeah.
Would you like to know more? I mean, why not? We killed their mayor.
Yep. This is very Empire sweeps in with one fell strike.
ひどいことになった。
どこへ行くの？友達のとこ。約束してたから。待ちなさい。何もこんな時に。アムロ君、いいの？
Why? Absolutely nothing is happening here.
No.
いつもお利口ね、ハロ。汚いところですが。フォン・ブラウンの中域では今も戦闘が続いています。連邦政府は逆サイドに対し。アムロ君来ないの？ラザニア冷たくなっちゃうよ。
What is?
To be fair, at least he's looking at schematics. The face he gave was not that implication.
For anybody in the know, that's what crying sounds like.
食べたかったんだ、ラザニア。本当に。
Not that other sound from another Gundam show.
戦争のことだって。本当は怖いんだ。でも、どうしようもないし、僕には何もできないから。
Back to people dying.
This is always easy to tell which ships are Zeon. They're the stupid-looking ones.
今何をしている
星を見ているわ。キラキラ瞬いて、とても綺麗。
宇宙では
You're on the moon. How can they twinkle in the moon?
Maybe there's a dome we
いい
can't
子で
see.
待っていなさい仕事が終わったらすぐ帰る
Calling you from the battlefield. Conversely, maybe the twinkle that she's seeing is actually the exploding ships.
Mm-hmm. Isn't Char such a nice guy?
No, I mean, yeah, technically. I mean, what's he done? Besides two things, what's he done negatively so far? He did save her from a really bad situation.
It's true.
And it gave her a really good situation, conceptually. I mean, I don't know if he's sending her money or anything, so she can send money back to her family in India.
I don't know. I'm getting the vibe that they're basically like quote unquote dating at this point.
I have thoughts, but those thoughts are in my next notes, so... there's a complex breakdown. I have a complex breakdown of what I think their relationship is, or could be, and it's weird.
Absolutely, it's weird.
No, I mean, what I think it is weird. I don't... See, my problem is I don't exactly remember exactly what I thought. I have new thoughts here, but I don't think they apply. So I can't really...
The energy I get's trauma bonding.
Yeah.
Now, I just want to say, before Justin responds to that, yeah, that Justin says everything is trauma bonding.
The amount of circumstances in anime that would lead to trauma bonding are insanely high.
I'm not saying it's not trauma bonding, I'm just saying you have said everything is trauma bonding in every show we've ever watched. So... but yeah, I mean... I think it's pretty obvious. We can all say who Catherine was, right?
Celia?
So I was waiting to see if Justin was going to jump in there or not.
Let me pull up the board.
Well, I mean, it's not on the board anymore. You can't look to the board for cheats. Also, it's a new episode, so I haven't added the people from this episode to the board yet.
I know.
I know it'd be real cute if I was doing this in the background, just adding the people to the board real quick, but I assure you, I'd take a week. Yeah, no,
I do not know who,
pretty obvious that Cecilia was Catherine, yes.
Yeah.
That's why I've been making comments about her from like episode 1. This is my favorite version of her hair. Not a fan of blonde Cecilia. Also, back in the first board that I put up, I had Catherine written under Cecilia because I forgot to delete it. The same way that I have all of casval's names, like Casval, Edward, Char underneath him.
Char?
Yeah, I forgot that I had Catherine's name, or I had Catherine under Cecilia because it was her code name. So, I mean, any other? Come on, you guys don't have any thoughts about this? This is a pretty big episode. They killed.
It is, but...
They killed Smokey Wilson, for God's sakes.
Well, R.I.P. Smokey Wilson. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I'll pour one out.
It was our very first combat between mobile suits of different sides.
I think this episode showed the actual difference between Zeon and everybody else. Everybody else is like, war is coming. Zeon's like, bitch, we in war.
I mean, they did strike first, so well, depending how you measure it.
I measure it that the Earth forces struck first when they shot down a peaceful resistance in the streets.
It's true, but so Earth forces did that and then didn't think about it. Where Zeon was like, okay, let's
But
go
I
to
think
war.
the was the plan. The plan was that that they were going to build a principality, right? Not a republic.
Well, I mean, they never said that. That was never displayed up until literally this episode, where they declared themselves a principality.
Yeah.
And you know that Dagwin was literally just talking about, I just want Munzo. I just want our power here. Sorry, I thought this episode literally had something at the end. I guess I misremembered. Yeah, no, Dagwin has conversation with Giran. It's like, we should just keep this place. If we go any further, Earth will fucking crush us.
Yeah, he was very much like, I like what we have here. I want to run this. I'll be happy.
Yeah, but I think also that since both sides were moving to create mobile suits, it's like we have the advantage now. We don't take the advantage, we're gonna lose it. We gotta use it or lose it, basically.
You know, you say that, but what it feels like it turned out to be was two different companies that then chose sides. Because you had the Zeonic company, which literally outsources mobile workers to Earth, and they just happen to have backed Zeon, which is weird when you think about it. Zeonic is being backed by Zeon. Who would have guessed? But then Anaheim is also building shit, and they're building shit for Earth. So it's not like a national, not national company. It's not like the nation itself is building shit. They designed it with like test models, and then they outsourced it to a company, which I guess makes sense. How they got all of these things real quick is that they outsourced to a company that has already existing, resources.
Yes. To me, the reason why now was the time to strike was because of that defection. And if there was one person who was going to make it so you would lose your edge, it was the guy who was defecting.
I mean, it seemed like they were already planning to strike before the defection.
Yeah.
Agreed, but I think that just pushed it forward. I think that just was basically like that. That defection just made them hit the button early.
Technically, in the scale of things, the defection happens, and then much later on, the attack happens. It's just the time frame between these two events isn't that far in the episode. We see the whole battle, the Iron Cavalry versus the 5 Zeon suits, and then we do that little weird narrative news skip thing, and then during that, the invasion of the two lunar cities happens. So it's not exactly right back to back. They didn't like get done with the killing of Minovsky and then walked over to the city.
No, of course. But I think that set the events into motion. Not like all of like the domino, like all the attacks happening following that exact moment.
I mean, to be fair, they declared war, and that's what set
later.
everything into motion.
But they would have known of the defection by that point.
I mean, she knew. That's Catherine was, Celia was monitoring the whole situation. And she was pleased that Minovsky died. So it's like, oh, he's dead. Oops.
Yeah, we literally go from Rawl saying, "Oh no, this hadn't happened," and then her getting a phone call like, "Oh, good news," So
good news, everybody.
Exactly.
But yeah. Also her secret. Yeah, what was it called again? Secret Casilia's secret something.
Yeah. Secret Service, I think it was.
Doesn't
Something
sound
like
right.
that. Intelligence Service?
Basically, she's like the KGB of the Zeons. The secret police, basically.
If she knocks at your door, you're already dead.
Well, if she knocks at your door, you're probably not dead because she just showed up for a reason. I mean, why would Cecilia show up at your door? She has a whole
I don't
secret
know.
police. Why would she show up? I think you're more
Maybe
likely
she'll
to
show up
live
here.
if she shows up than somebody else. She didn't get her hands dirty. I think the car bomb proved that. She didn't kill him herself. She didn't show up at his door.
Fair enough.
It's going to be really awkward, you know? She's going to kiss you with lipstick, and then you're going to ask if you wipe it off, and then you're going to give somebody a state secret because you're an idiot, and then get shot twice in the chest. Look, Bergman did not have a lot going on for him. It seemed
You know
like he
what?
could have easily lived through the episode, but it's like, I didn't tell them about this. How'd they find out, Bergman? And Bergman, unable to lie since he chopped down that cherry tree as a child, decided to get shot twice in the chest was the better way to go. I don't know
Do you know
what
what
the
he
fuck's
should have
happening.
done? Not get shot twice in the chest. He would still be alive if he did that.
I mean, I don't know what the hell was going on. I don't know why he said anything. I'm like, he doesn't try to defend himself. Like, oh, I thought I could intimidate him, which would help you out. He just like, ah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, a lot of shit happened this episode.
I think he was hankering to make himself look bigger than more important than he was, and it backfired.
I mean, clearly he had a thing for Cecilia. It seemed
Yeah,
like
well.
anyway. And then, you know, then she has that dance off with the guy in the disco, and he's not there. I don't think Bergman.
He's in the bar.
He's at the bar.
Waiting for her. Like, oh yeah, I'm just a chauffeur here, basically.
Which also, by the way, she's dancing with a guy in a full Zeon outfit. So obviously, like hiding it wasn't a big priority. And dude was into it too. He was good dancing. She seemed to like it. Bergman was just uptight.
They're in neutral territory at that point, which means it wouldn't be.
Well, they were always in neutral territory.
Yeah.
They never left like Grenada, so I never know how to pronounce it. I'm assuming it's Grenada. Grenada.
Grenada, yeah.
Well, I know there's a place called Grenada, and I think it's spelled the same way, isn't it?
It's Granada. It's just that in English it's Grenada. Yeah.
Well, I also don't think. Do you think it's the same name? Like there's the way there's Alexandrias all over the place. That there's two Granadas.
Because it's a place in Spain, basically.
Well, I just mean that there's an Earth Granada. Okay, let me ask you this: if somebody names a place the same name that another place has, but they're not a native speaker of it, they say they have a different pronunciation, but they say it the same. Is it still the same name? Like if I say, I like the name of the place Grenada, and I spell it Granada. Does everyone just pronounce it Granada from now on, not knowing that my interpretation?
If you're a dick and you enforce it, sure.
Yeah.
What about that one country in Africa? Never mind.
I'm sorry, what country? I don't know.
I don't know. I am talking, of course, about Egypt. Anyway, yeah. We have what Zeon now controls. No, do they control both lunar colonies? I think they only control one. I want to say
no. They actually attacked. They attacked.
So they had an in on one, and the other one was like, "No, we're good." So they're like, "Okay."
Well, we saw the Earth Force fleet there to defend it, and we saw the attack happen. I just don't recall off the top of my head if we saw them win or.
They seem to be winning.
I want to say the news report in the background would have said, but I can't remember. The problem is like, I go through all this later and type it out, and I don't remember what I typed out. Normally, I'm more inclined to have information here, but I actually go through a service now that I have to go back. It goes back and listens to me for me and gives me a transcription. What was the beginning of the episode? Oh yeah, Dozel and what's her name? I'm telling you, Dozel's not a creep. He's like maybe 2 years older than she is. They're both of legal age, and certainly the age of consent in Japan.
Yes.
If you looked up Dozel's age, I will trust you. He just looks like he's like 45.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was like, oh man, I gotta know. Is this the only good guy that we've seen on the Zabi side? Is he a fucking creepo or not? Is he like using his power position to make a girl half his age do what he wants? It's like, no, he's about the same age as her. And all I saw in that scene was a dude like being honest with his emotions. He's like, even a guy like me can get hurt, and all I'm
Also, he
doing,
lost his job, so she's
yeah,
no. I mean, she graduates from the academy. He lost the job of
because
being
of
the head of
her.
the academy because so
Yeah.
Also, that sheds a new light on the fact that if Dozel wasn't aware that he was being put in that position to fall on a sword, because he's like 20 years old running a military academy.
Well, he got put in the position of running the academy before anything, and he knew he was falling on the sword when, his dad says, well, Karma shouldn't have to pay for this. Maybe somebody else is more responsible. And everyone looks at Dozel.
which makes sense. He was the head of the academy, so
Yeah.
Your students rebelled, started a war. Yeah.
Yep.
I couldn't do anything. I was being held at gunpoint. Aren't you 40? No, I'm literally the same age as everybody else. Man, steroids, huh? Hell of a thing.
Very much so.
Also, I think he possibly just looks older because of all the scarring too. The scarring probably has something to do with it.
Because he looked old from the first time we met him.
Yeah, but I don't think it's they kind of all look old. Kycelia kind of looked young when we first saw her, and she's kind of started looking old as the further we go along.
Sure, yeah.
Garen has that like old woman blue hair thing going on, so he kind of just looks old too. Dozel has just been big, but I think the thing is, Dozel acts like a teddy bear, right? He tries to protect the kids. He's like when she goes up to Zena goes up to like hold a gun on him. He's like, look, I'm not normally up this late. Also, is there something you want to talk about, like problems with boys, or he talks to her like he cares. He's not like Degwin, who I think I said this out loud, so I'll say it here before I jump into it in my notes next time. I think Degwin's a pedophile. Here, son, hold my hand. Put your cheek into my palm. Oh, you feel so cold. Let me just caress you a little. This is not creepy, is it? Let me just hold on this scene for a little bit, son. Oh, I wish I wasn't so old or I could enjoy this more. Dagwood's a creepy old man, and I think he has a penchant for small boys. That's all I'm saying. Take that as insultingly as you want.
Yes. Not saying no.
What, are you gonna defend the guy that you're considering?
No, I'm not gonna defend that. I'm thinking the fact that he's more a petulant of he beats up his older children.
Oh yeah, no,
right?
It's what we talked about.
Yeah, and the younger one is like, oh, I had you when you're too old, so I didn't feel like beating the crap out of you. So
oh sure,
you're the special one.
You can go the other way with it, but I just seeing what I'm seeing on screen.
I'm not saying normal, that you're wrong. I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's not normal activity, is all I'm saying. And look, it's just a running theory I have, and if I'm wrong, he's got other bad qualities.
Oh, plenty of them, yeah.
True. No, I think you're probably more correct than wrong. And even if that wasn't the intention, that's clearly how it's coming across.
It's creepy. That's all it is. I mean, if I'm wrong, at best he's creepy. I mean, at best he's not just creepy, but at best to this one thing, it's a creepy. I mean, imagine if that was like a daughter, right? How much creepier would it be? I know there's like this whole thing, but I just mean there are things that are creepier to do to girls than there is to boys. And seeing a boy just like natural inclination to his father, it's like that's weird. But if he was like stroking his little girl's face, it'd be like, what the fuck is going on here? I need to call CPS. Munzo CPS. Alright, clearly I'm rambling if you guys have nothing else you want to bring up from this episode.
Nope.
Not really.
No? Okay. Well, once again, I have been Theta. Below me is Justin from the phone, and below him is lessons. Okay, your phone can do that. That's interesting to know. Anyway, we have been Stone Face Reactions. We'll catch you next time, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stone-Faced Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video and what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?